Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Duet Night Abyss. Now, in today's video, we're going to take a deeper look at this game's gearing system known as Demon Wedges, the weapons, and some amazing things you can do in this game with these systems that kind of make you feel like you're almost breaking the game in a way. Now, before we do get into it, I do have to give Duet Night Abyss a massive shout out for sponsoring this video. And if you do want to pre-register for the game, I will have a link in the description because this is from the closed beta test. So the game is in pre-registration right now. Make sure you sign up so you can get all the good loot when the game does come out. But as I mentioned in my previous video, which I will also leave you linked in the description, which is my full first impressions of the game, I mentioned when I was talking about the traversal, I love it in games when you feel like you can kind of break systems and do things you're not supposed to do. And this game allows you to do that, which you will see. Now, massive shout out to my man Tomias, who gave me inspiration for this idea that we are doing. But we've got some crazy stuff. So if we go into our characters, we do have our characters. Now, when we looked at what they have, we have two different weapons on our characters. We have a ranged and a melee. Every character is going to have a ranged and a melee weapon. Your melee weapon will become your left click. Your ranged weapon will become your right click on your mouse when you're in combat. Now, some characters, for instance, over here, we have Hansel and Gretel as our unique weapon, which is used when you use a specific ability. For this one, when we go into her ultimate form, she will get these dual pistols out, which are separate to our equipped dual pistols, and she will be using these and going ham. You will see that in a sec. Now, if we come back over here, once again, Lynn was my favorite character because she was the first character that I pulled in the beta when I was playing, and I want to show you guys some cool stuff. Now, as I mentioned, she can use melee and ranged weapons. Every character is going to have a weapon mastery. Keep this in mind when we look at one of the later characters that we're going to talk about. Hers is dual pistols, meaning she is going to get the benefits from using dual pistols. So normally that is going to be what you're doing. Now, when we take a look at Lynn over here, she has a very simple sort of playstyle. If we take a look at her E ability, fires a specially enhanced projectile with Hansel and Gretel, dealing pyro damage to the enemy and inflicting laceration. Now, laceration, when under the influence of laceration, every time the enemy takes ranged weapon damage, increases lacerate wound count by 1. When the laceration duration ends, deals pyro damage equivalent to the laceration wound count times laceration damage to the enemy. Essentially, we can go over here and we can check the details. You can see the cap is 9. So basically what her playstyle seems like it should be is you use your E ability, your skill, put the wound on them, then you just hit them with basic attacks till it stacks, then you rinse and repeat. That's the kind of general idea we are looking at this. But we can play her a completely different way where we just use her ultimate. So if we go over into her Demon Wedges, and this is where the magic really happens with these Demon Wedges. Now, your Demon Wedges can give you a bunch of different effects. I'm just going to hide my face cam for a moment so you guys can see the whole screen. So the Demon Wedges gives you a wide range of effects that you can get, on your characters. You can go for more crit, you can go for more skill damage, you can go for more defensive abilities. There's a bunch of things you can get. Now, just note with these Demon Wedges, there's no random substats or stuff like that. The only RNG that comes into Demon Wedges is essentially just getting them and getting dupes of them, but keeping in mind you can craft them as well. So crafting is fantastic in this game. And that's what I'm working on at the moment. You can see this one. Once we get these ones, which are the yellow grade ones, we can actually amplify them with dupes of them, but that requires crafting and getting the materials to craft them. So that is what I'm currently working on. But as you can see here, when we look at her specifically, these are her Demon Wedges. Keep in mind, the Demon Wedges I have equipped to her, I can also equip to my other units as well. Really, really good efficiency. Then we have Demon Wedges for her melee weapon, Demon Wedges for her ranged weapon, and then Demon Wedges for her Hansel and Gretel. This is going to be when she uses her E or Q. This is the weapon that she goes ahead and uses. Now, the big thing on her that I've done is I've customized what I wanted to go for in her personal ones. Because if you look at this, we have max sanity and skill efficiency. Then over here, we have skill range, and then we have this one that increases the efficiency of the other ones, like this one. So that's a really nice one because what I am trying to go for here is increase my skill efficiency And also, if you look at skill duration, that's another thing that I'm buffing with this one, because what they all do is essentially allow me to stay in my ult form longer by using less sanity. Sanity, think of it as your ultimate gauge. And so that is everything that I'm going for from this one, to try and maximize her sanity gauge, because that will then allow me to essentially just ult for the entire game. So if we go over here and take a look at it, well, I'll show you just a quick example of that. So if I go into my ult form here, you can see in the bottom right, I've got that energy gauge that is ticking down. So you can see normally your character isn't getting too much out of this ult, but she is staying there for a very long time. Now, I do also have my Z support ability, which is fantastic when tied with this, because then if we go ahead and use my Z ability, you can see I go ahead and I get that. That is on a 45-second cooldown, and you can see when we jump into combat, this ability absolutely shreds everything basically on the screen, and you can see how long we are sitting in this ability. So that is what this build that I'm trying to do focuses on. And like I said, it feels like you're kind of cheating in this one. Now, if I take a look at the rest of her build, and then I'll take a look at some teammates, and then we'll jump in and we'll just show you guys a run through with this stuff, because it's actually sick. So if we go into her melee weapon, now ideally, like I said, her general playstyle seems like you're going to be just using the ranged weapon, but ammo becomes a bit of a tricky issue as well. But then I went ahead and equipped this sword. When dealing crit damage with this weapon, there is a 25% chance to restore 5 points of sanity. So the idea being, if I run out of sanity, then I can nab some back quickly with this sword. Now, this sword has its own demon wedges. Guess what I prioritized in this one? You guessed it, crit chance. So I just went all in on crit chance on this sword. Whoop, my head's in the way again. Let's just hide that. So I went all in on the crit chance. Everywhere that I could get crit chance, I went ahead and took it. There's not too many. You can see here, this one's got a beefy crit chance as well. And so all I really cared about there was crit chance. I'm not stressed about doing damage. This is just a way for me to get my sanity back. But when you pair her with the proper teammates, you'll see that none of that really matters. Now, when I go into her Hansel and Gretel, which is what she's firing with, this is where I just prioritize damage, essentially. Now, if we go ahead and look to the teammates that I am using with her, we have one over here who is amazing. Now, she is a 5-star, so take this one with a grain of salt. She's going to be a crazy support Fushu that I definitely recommend targeting in this game. Just based off what I've seen so far, she's absolutely amazing. But she has this amazing passive, which is really the only thing that I really need to upgrade, which is increases the sanity recovery of Fushu and all her nearby teammates. So you can see we get a 22% increase. Really nice. Obviously, that's tying into what we've been going for with this whole build. Then this one, after Fushu and nearby teammates consume a certain amount of sanity, their skill damage increases. The higher the skill efficiency, the lower the sanity cost required to trigger this effect. So we just get a bit of a boost out of that one as well. But the big thing on her is that she's giving us more efficiency, meaning we can stay in that ult form longer. Then if we take a look at my next teammate that I'm using her with her, which is only a 4-star teammate, who I absolutely love this character. Basically, she has all these abilities that she's going to summon tentacles, and these tentacles control her enemies, which is absolutely fantastic, because now when we're in that shooting form, we're very vulnerable to being attacked, but this allows us to get some control on the enemies. Then dealing crit damage with ranged weapon has a chance to get one more summon. So obviously, if we go over back here and take a look at her, and what I've got equipped, the interesting thing is that her weapon mastery is grenade launcher. However, if we go to her ranged weapon, and like I said, we want to be using ranged attacks to get crits, I have got a sorry, it's a bit funny like this. She's actually got this one equipped when I go into my loadouts for co-op. So crit chance increased by 50%. Once again, giving her more chance to crit, which is going to go ahead and give her more chance to get that those tentacles out. Even though her mastery is the grenade launcher, I've got her with an assault rifle, because this one's also amazing. Fires a beam that ricochets off the enemy and hits up to 4 nearby enemies. When a Hydro character deals crit damage using this weapon, and wouldn't you know it, she's a Hydro. So when a Hydro character deals crit damage using this weapon, we grant an ultra shield equal to 58% of the user's attack to nearby teammates, and increases their damage dealt by 27% for 3 seconds. This effect can only be triggered once per second, which is perfectly fine. So we're getting ourselves extra survivability with this character, not just through her tentacles, but also through her weapon. She is giving us shields, meaning even if enemies do get through the tentacles and get to us, we are now protecting them. So this is where you can get some really crazy synergies that really start to roll. Now, let's jump into combat, and I want to show you that. But it's just one of those things, when you look at characters, this is what I'm trying to demonstrate in this one. They seem like they have a linear way to play, but if you want to have fun and experiment, you can definitely go against the grain. Once again, not using grenade launcher, which is the primary weapon, and then completely ignoring dual pistols and just using her ultimate and maybe the sword to get the extra ult energy back. So let's jump into a stage over here. We'll go into one that's probably gonna character demon wedges. So this is basically you got to kill 100 enemies and they just send waves upon waves. So we're going to go into the max difficulty one here. We're going to use one of these, just get bonus loot. Why not? Because I'm trying to do some crafting and we're just playing around on this beta build. Okay, so this one is not, this actually isn't too bad of a starting zone. So what we're going to do is we're going to summon our teammates. So there's one, there's one. Now the enemies will just start rolling in. We're going to go into our ult form and just watch in the bottom right at our ult gauge. So we're just going to stand here and ult. So we got 160. Keeping in mind, I do have my Z support ability, which is going to give me extra. Now, unfortunately, this is not the greatest map for it because our allies will start running forward. But if we were on a better map where the enemies do get, cornered a bit better, we could do it even easier. But if you look at that, we're at 31 enemies killed and we are just sitting here absolutely chilling, nuking enemies. You can see we're at 136 sanity still. And we are still cooking. Like I said, we've still got the Z support ability that we can go ahead and churn out if we want to. But at the moment, we don't have any need. We are just sitting here, and I don't even have to spam click. I just have to hold my left finger on the trigger, on the left click, and it's just, boom. Just left click, hold. And we are absolutely melting everything. Once again, we are getting kind of low on sanity, so we can hit our support ability, boom. That not only restores it for my character, but also my supporter characters, meaning they can go ahead and, get more tentacles out and all the good stuff. But as you can see, we've also got a massive shield. It's that purple number just next to my head. We've got a massive shield so that if enemies do happen to get towards us, we get to just nuke them anyway. So these kind of combos, I absolutely love. Now, like I said, we were using a 5-star support character, but keep in mind that, this is more end game type build stuff. But the other things that we haven't done yet, if we go to her demon wedges, is you can see I've only just started upgrading this. If I amplify this, you can see our max sanity goes up again, our skill efficiency goes up again, which is exactly what we're looking for. And then we can, and once again, all these gold ones, we can still upgrade them even further by crafting more dupes of them. And you craft them once again just over here. And this is what I love about the crafting system, is fantastic. We can just come over here and we can craft any of the weapons. We can come over here to demon wedges. We can find the demon wedges that we want to craft, and we can go ahead and craft them as well. And you can start getting those stats upgraded even more, which is something I love. So the way you build a character, more so in this game than a lot of other games I've seen, the way you build a character can really impact the way you actually get to play them. Now, obviously, this build I was showing you doesn't, excel in boss fights if you've got a dodge and stuff like that. You can't exit form and go like that. But the thing is, Lynn is just my favorite character because she was the first I pulled and I love the dual pistols. But any character that has one of those form changes that has a gradual draining of sanity, you can do this same kind of thing with, which I think is absolutely fantastic. Now, the one thing I didn't show you guys was this one, which is the Zapyro. This is I call them pets. It's called a Genimon. But essentially, if you look at this one, the cool thing about this one is the passive skill, Pyro Attack. So, Lynn's a pyro character, so we're getting that boost from that. But then we've got the active skill, which restores 84 points of sanity. And if I keep upgrading this thing, I get more points of sanity, which makes this whole system work even better. So that is a look at some of my favorite things inside the game at the moment. Once again, this is more end game type viable stuff, but just the sort of synergies that you can have and the fun that you can have in the different builds that you do for your characters, I find to be absolutely amazing in this game. All thanks to that system of the demon wedges, making it really customizable, and you're not having to keep going for different substats every time with these demon wedges. It just gives you some really awesome customization. But anyway, guys, that is going to be it. That's what I wanted to show you guys. Some cool stuff in this game. Once again, this bit more end game related, but you can definitely get some awesome stuff happening. The last thing I want to do is let's finish off the video by doing exactly what we just did, but let's do it without our extra support character, just so you guys can get an idea of what you can do if you didn't have the extra premium character. I think I went in on the easy difficulty, so we're just restarting this on max difficulty, trial rank 60. Okay, so what we're going to do here is, I don't like this one as much. Most of the enemies spawn around here, so let's just do this. Let's just get to here. Let's get tentacles up. And now let's just wait for the enemies to come. Okay, now we're going to go. So let's take a look at it. Once again, we don't have the extra support for that energy, but once again, we got the tentacles and the shields that are going to give us protection. Now, just next to my head on the bottom left, you can see that there's that purple number. That is our shield stacking up. So we are getting plenty of mitigation. Now, the one other problem is that she is going to keep advancing forward and sort of, you know, doing the enemies by herself. But you can see we're still at 100 sanity here. So we are still having no sanity issues. And we are not running with the 5-star support. We have only got our 1 4-star support on the team. And once again, yes, I am using a 5-star character because she's my favorite, but anyone that has this type of system, you can essentially go ahead and do this similar sort of thing. Once again, we are at 102 sanity. We are not even stressing. We haven't even used our support skill to give ourselves the extra sanity. Now, there are much better maps than this that, you know, get a lot more enemies in straight away. But as you can see, like, this is the kind of thing you can do. Once again, you know, 5-star support's always going to be insane, but the capacity to deal damage, control enemies, and just spam. Okay, we got real low there, so now we finally had to use our support ability. Now, really, I should have used that support ability when we were about 100, so that it could regenerate faster and start ticking back up. But as you can see, like, because then we would have got the cooldown back by the time we needed it again, maybe. But, you know, we only need to kill 8 more enemies anyway, and we might actually get through that right here. We got, once again, boost. Look at us. We just got the boost to sanity. It's GG's from there. And that is a look at it. Once again, not even requiring the 5-star support. I hadn't even tested that yet, to be honest. I was just relying on that 5-star support. But there you go. Like I said, a lot of fun stuff that you can do in this game with different builds. You know, this is only scratching the surface because there's so many different characters, so many different builds that you can do. And, you know, I've only had so much time in the game so far. But that is going to be it for this one, guys. Once again, massive shout out to Duet Night Abyss for sponsoring this video. And if you do want to pre-register for the game, I will have a link in the description below. As always, thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing the next one. Cheers.